Greetings, brethren. Today I'm going to be covering more of JT's book, The Lore of Glory, and today we'll be looking at chapter 14, The Soul of the Godhead. And you can guess, you already know how he tries to prove that the Father is the soul of the Godhead, and how the kind of interpretation he has, how he works it in there. Um, so, but I just figure, well, let's look down through this chapter 14, the soul of the Godhead, and you'll see that he makes just equivocation. A plus B so equals C. So if A equals B, then A must equal C or something like that. I can't remember the math problem, but so he goes. This is the Mount Transfiguration. Um, these scriptures when the Father says when the Father says out of heaven and the Holy Spirit descends like in a bodily shape like a dove, the Father says, "Thou art my Son, thou art my beloved Son, in thee I'm well pleased." So there's just all the scriptures in the the four Gospels, and he says, "Well, the Father can be well pleased." So he cross references from the Old Testament, Isaiah 41:1. Behold my servant, whom I uphold mine elect, in whom my soul delighteth. I put my spirit upon him, and he shall bring forth judgment to the Gentiles. Behold my servant, whom I chosen. Matthew 12:18. Behold my servant, whom I have chosen, my beloved, in whom my soul is well pleased. I put my spirit upon him, and he shall show judgment to the Gentiles. So and he says, and there is confirmation the Father is soul. All he can tell is that my soul, a soul belonging to him, so something that's mine belongs to me. So all he can tell by that thinking that he has a soul, that his soul delighteth, but it really just says that he has great um, a great delight. What I'm trying to say. It delights him very heavily. So that's all it really means. All you can by that thinking, my soul, a soul that is the Father's. That's all you can really tell from that. You can't really say, well, the Father has a soul, so he thinks, well, the Father has a soul. That means he is the soul of the Godhead, because it says, "My soul." He has a soul, so that means he's the soul of the Godhead because he has a soul. And there's the confirmation the Father is the soul. If Matthew 12:18 says the soul is well pleased, and the other parallel passages say the Father is well pleased, then it's easy to conclude that the Father is no doubt the soul. So he says, well, my soul delighteth. So that means he has a soul. So that means the Father is the soul of the Godhead. Another proof text that this can be found is John 12, verses 27-28. Now my soul is troubled, and what shall I say? Father, save me from this hour. But for this cause came I unto this hour. Father, glorify thy name. Then came there a voice from heaven saying, I have both glorified it and will glorify it again. Now, notice how Jesus says his soul is troubled, then proceeds make mention of the Father. If the Father's not the soul, then why would he make a statement like that? Isn't it evident that the Father must be the soul and Jesus' soul is the Father? No, all you can tell is Jesus' soul. I'm not saying that the soul is the Father. Does he go says, well, now my soul is troubled. I pray to you, O soul. Father, save me from this hour. No, he's deeply troubled. You only can say, well, like I said before, my soul, a soul that belongs to Jesus. And he says, my soul is troubled. His soul is troubled. Then he prays to the Father. Okay. If you say, well, this means his soul, it means the Father is deep, is troubled. You wouldn't be saying, he wouldn't be praying to the Father if the Father is troubled. Doesn't even say the Father's troubled. It says Jesus says his soul is troubled. Just basically means that he's deeply troubled with, very heavily within himself. All fiber of his being is troubled. Remember, Jesus and the Father are spoken as being the same person. So he quotes Job 13:7-8, Matthew 27 verse 24, 2 Corinthians chapter 2 verse 10, and Hebrews 1:4, Hebrews chapter 1 verses 1-4, which doesn't really prove nothing. It doesn't really prove anything. It just wherever the word person is mentioned. So we'll go to look at the scriptures real quick. Job chapter 13 verses 7-8. Hear now my reasoning, and hearken to my pleadings to my lips. Will ye speak wickedly for God? Will ye speak wickedly for God and talk deceitfully for him? Will ye accept his person? Will you contend for God? Is it good that he should search you out as one mocketh another? Do you mock him? So he says, will you accept his person? Oh, he must be a person because his person says person. God is a person or has a person, so he means he's a person. No, will you accept who he is? Accept his person. You accept him at all the attributes, the multitude of the kind of, because you're praying that will you speak wickedly or will you mock him? He will surely reprove you if you do secretly accept persons. Shall not his excellent, okay, here we go. Shall not his excellency make you afraid and his dread fall upon you? So it's who he is, his person, his excellency, the kind of his excellency that you'll that his dread, that his awesomeness, that you will feel in awe. So that's what his person is, actually his majesty. accepting his person. Not saying that he is a person. Well, his person, yes, but I mean that that's not what it's saying. Can't conclude. Well, yeah, his person, yes, his excellency, his majesty, who he is. It's not saying he's one person right there. Well, yeah, it's his person singular, but his person, who he is. So you can't get that from that that passage. And this, quoting Matthew 27 verse 24, doesn't make no sense at all to demonstrate that God is one person, other than that Jesus is a human being in the flesh. That's all it really proves, that he is a person, a human person in the flesh. Matthew 27 verse 24, when Pilate saw that he could prevail nothing, but that rather atonement was made, he took water and washed his hand before the multitude, saying, I'm innocent of the blood of this just person. See ye to it. Yes, he's a person. He's a man. Oh, that means God is one person, because the Father is in the flesh, which is Jesus. Jesus is the skin. Well, of course, Jesus is a man. What does it prove? That he's one person or a person? Since he's God, God and man. That doesn't really prove that he's one person. Just proves that Jesus is a man. The false equivocation. Well, Jesus is a man, so that means God is one person, the Father. 2 Corinthians 2:10. To whom ye forgive anything, I forgive also. For if I forgive anything to whom I forgive it, for your sakes I forgive I it in the person of Christ. Yes, in the charge of Christ, in his name. Who he is, yeah. Whoever is speaking here, yeah, in the charge of Christ, in his name. Oh, he's a person? No, in the charge, in his name. That's what it's saying. Just like the phrase, like, oh, I don't have it on my person. It's not literally like sticking to your skin, like the object, like your keys. Oh, I don't have it on my person. Well, you don't stick your keys in, like, in your skin or something. It means you just don't have it with you. So when the person is in the office of Christ, in the person of a king or a magistrate, so that doesn't prove nothing. This is somewhat close. Hebrews 1, chapter 1, verse 1 to 4. God, who at sundry times and in diverse manners spake in time past unto the fathers by the prophets, hath in these last days spoken unto us by his Son, whom he hath appointed heir of all things, by whom he made the worlds, who being the brightness of his glory, the express image of his person, God's one person, upholding all things by his word of his power, when he had made himself purged our sins, sat down on the right hand of the Majesty on high. Express image. Exact representation. Exact attributes, authorities of his person, who he is. Doesn't even say that he's one person or a person. He's an express image of the Father. The exact resemblance, the exact attributes as the Father. Express image, that's what it means. When you have an exact like imprint, when you make a copy of a key or a mold, that mold is not the key itself, or whatever. That was uh, a silly analogy. So when you copy a key, you get a key copied, and it's the exact image or express image or imprint that the key from the original key. Is that original key the same thing as the the copied key? No, but their exact attributes, shape, the exact copy of the original key. So that falls flat, and that covers the body, the body of the Godhead. That he's the image. Yes, he's the physical image of the visible image of the invisible God. And the other things just same thing as the equivocation. Well, this means this, so that see that proves it. No, it doesn't. So that pretty much covers what well, this is the image and the similitude. God is a similitude. Well, yeah. Well, that means that he's the body, and the Father is the, as you say, the command center. So yes, the Father is the consciousness within the skin, which is Jesus. So Jesus doesn't have a real consciousness. Jesus' consciousness is the Father. So it's exactly like how a man is, that we are in our flesh. Our flesh is, so when you, so I'll give you an example. This is Jesus, and what you do not see within me is the Father. So that's exactly what he's trying to say, that the Father is the command center, the consciousness within the skin, which the skin is the skin, the flesh and bone is Jesus, but Jesus' consciousness is the Father, which is soul. So yeah. See if I'm missing anything else I want to look at. Kind of went on a tangent. Let's go back to the book. Well, that's about it, actually. Just to say, well, from the Mount of Transfiguration, well, he's omnipresent, so the Father can be in Jesus and in heaven at the same time. Well, anyways. Well, I just wanted to show you the kind of equivocation he says that he makes, that while well, my soul means the Father is the soul. No, it's just if you take that argument that all you can get derived from that the soul that belongs to the Father or the soul that belongs to Jesus. You only can prove that the Father has a soul, so a soul that belongs to the person. But really, all that means he deeply felt it, heavily felt, moved in himself. He deeply delighted or deeply troubled. But all you can really argue get from that he has a soul that belongs to him, the soul that belongs to the Father. He's trying to say, well, it says my soul. Oh, the Father's the soul. All you can derive from that the soul that belongs to the Father and the soul that belongs to the Son, to Jesus. When Jesus says, my soul is troubled, he says, oh, that means the Father's troubled because the Father is the soul. See, that proves that the Father is the soul and Jesus is the body. No. All you can derive from that is that doesn't prove that the Father is the soul. It just means that the soul that was troubled that belongs to Jesus, belongs to the Father. You can't really make that. You can't make that. You can't derive that from. So, just makes false equivocations and saying, well, it says my Father, my soul, so it means the Father is the soul. So it's just a false equivocation. So I know you could have guessed. You don't really need me telling you how he derives that the Father is the soul, but I just wanted to show you, cover this, so you'll see it. All right. We'll see you next time. Hope this helps you. Thank you and take care.